I'm recording this one because I have been forgetting to do that and want to make sure I post this one. So, how
I've
are
got it.
you? How are you doing?
Doing very well.
Good. How goes the club?
Today we had a great round two of the student speech contest with the Lyndonville Rotary Club winner.
Wonderful.
So our two contestants were very poised and presented very well. And the round one winner from Newport will will move on to round
Oh,
three.
okay. Gotcha. Well, we had our area clubs, unfortunately, didn't do a good job this year, I'm afraid, of getting out youth participants. We had um, one participant from Montpelier and the other three clubs did not present, unfortunately, including my club, which was very disappointing. But the one from Montpelier was sensational. And we did a second round, even though it was just her, because she needs the practice and she's entitled to
Sure.
the opportunity to win the money and show up. And she did she's just an astounding presenter. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, she's probably the best presenter I've seen at the club level. I'm not sure at the finalist level if she is, but I think she might be pretty close, if not the best one I've seen entirely the last 8 years. So I think there'll be stiff competition, Scott, this year for sure.
Well,
It'll be
our young lady was on a 24-0 girls varsity basketball team that won the state championship. So she's
wow.
won victories this year in
That's
in different
amazing.
ways. She
That's
was
incredible.
a
Good for
starting
her.
player. She's a junior, so she did a
Wow.
great job. Both girls did a really good job, but it's not easy to get contestants.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. We increased the money in order to give an additional incentive. I don't know if that really sifted through to the students that there's like, I think it's $1,500 or something you can win
Yeah,
total now if you,
17,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a
1750
lot of money. That's pretty good
for the
money
final.
for a
So
kid. So,
Aaliyah has now won $500, so that's
mhm.
really nice.
That's
But
very nice.
I had reached out personally to the principals of Lake Region High School and North Country High School. I know both of them well, and also to the United Christian Academy, and sent posters and offered to speak to anybody. And we got three responses. So all three from North Country High School. So that was
Yeah.
our round one. So three
Yeah.
out
That's
of
great.
something like 1,000 students that were eligible.
Yeah, I know it is hard. Although even having three, we had one year, I remember, very early in my tenure in Barry Rotary, we had one year where we had seven contestants, seven participants at the club level. It was impressive. And I haven't seen anything like it since, but it was just I guess, a very engaged class that year, but it was pretty cool. It was really great to see. It
We
was
were
really
happy
fun.
to have three, really.
Oh,
Ultimately.
absolutely. Right. Again, don't forget, Scott. I mean, I know you know this, but we're still coming out of COVID. People are still
Yeah,
kind of getting their sea
absolutely.
legs underneath them and getting used to being together in that kind of a situation. It's amazing how quickly people forget the patterns or habits or what's more typical of years past. It's incredible in that way. Hi, Claude. Bonsoir. I think he's off screen, but at any rate, yeah. So that's something that I keep reminding myself instead of feeling discouraged. We're relearning past patterns, So we have to,
Uh, that's how I look at it too.
yeah, yeah.
You build on your successes and learn from your failures. So
Yeah, yeah,
we, I think next year we'll probably have at least three
yeah.
contestants. Two that came in second and third our first round are underclassmen, so maybe they'll return next year for another try. All
That'd
three of
be
them
great.
actually
That'd be great. Yeah.
will still be in school next year.
We had a freshman one year who was scared out of his wits and he was very shaky to say the least. I felt so bad for him. That was right before COVID, so he didn't get a chance to come back really in practice, but I'll just never forget that kid. I wanted to hug him. He was so brave to come to do
It
this.
is. It does take courage to
It does.
stand up in front of
Yes, it does.
even your own peers, let alone strange adults.
Exactly. Very strange adults. Hi, Claude. How are you?
Hello, Caroline. I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Did you enjoy your time in Massachusetts at NEPETS?
I did appreciate it very, very much. I did like the formula this year
Oh,
because
good.
it was always interactive,
Yeah,
except
yeah,
on the
good.
keynote speaker.
Yeah,
When the past year they were long, blah 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 blah, which were good, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
the,
yeah.
your brain can take as much as it can.
So true, so true. Scott,
So
did your president-elect go to NEPETS?
Yes, yes,
Did
I just spoke to her today for the first time since she's been back and
did she
was
enjoy it?
very, very enthusiastic about the experience.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm very glad to hear that. Yeah, it was awfully nice again to be back in person, I'm sure, for all of,
Yeah.
we did our best last year, but as Claude says, it's hard to be particularly interactive when you're, on a screen in that way. So we sort of did a balance of things last year, but I'm glad that it went off without a hitch. Hi, Linda.
Hi there.
I thought they
We
did a
can't-
great job with the circumstances last year.
Oh, thank
I got a
you.
lot out of it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Linda, we can't see you. I don't know if you just don't want to be seen or if that's an oversight on your part.
It's an oversight on my part. Give me a minute. I can never remember how to do it.
Oh, the
you have to
bottom
click
left.
on the video.
Yeah, there's a little video picture. There you go.
Ah.
Now we see you. We see the top of your head.
Okay,
How you doing?
good.
Good to see you. Boy, we've only got 4 people on. 6:59. So we'll see. Hopefully, I've been noticing these petering out there's Spence. He's usually a good one to show up. So that's great. It's funny, Kelly Drew, our district governor nominee, who will be district governor elect as of July, was talking about the presidents and AG meetings and saying that she really thinks she's probably going to not do them every month. She'd probably do them every other month or once a quarter. And, it is true that we can't seem to get attendance on our best days. We can't seem to get attendance above maybe 10 to 12 of the presidents elect and maybe, 2/3 of the AGs at best. But it's hard. When I did the survey, I don't know if you folks remember me sending out that survey, but I did a survey before I came in and the vast majority of people still wanted to meet monthly. So hi, Spence. So it's hard to know, and then of course you have to choose a night and sometimes it doesn't work for people, period, so they never can make it. So it's tough.
But I like the monthly meeting because it keeps you in touch with the district.
Yes,
I think that's the
absolutely.
problem with most of the clubs to really be in touch with the district,
Yeah.
When the AG, because I'm also an AG, when the AG stopped by the club, well, we spoke a little, blah, 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 but it don't touch as much as when we're able to see you and talk with you.
Right.
Personally, I like the monthly, even if I miss a couple. So anyway,
Yeah.
but it's a hard job for the governor.
Well, it definitely is a new job, right? I mean, this didn't happen during non-COVID. This came at about as COVID, is my understanding, this is when it really started, where the monthly, hi, Kevin.
Hey,
The monthly, how you doing? Thanks for joining, where the monthly meetings kind of started happening on Zoom. And so it didn't, this didn't occur previously. And Lise is there. She looks like she's muted and we can't see her, but oh, there she is. Welcome, Lise. How are you? Good
Hello,
to see
Lise.
you.
Bonjour.
All right, so I'm going to get started. I am recording this. I don't know if you all saw a message when you came on that asked if you granted permission. I wanted to record it because, as I just was mentioning to Scott and Linda and Claude, we at best only have usually about a quarter of our presidents attending these meetings, and I haven't been as diligent in recording them, and I'd love them to have the benefit of your dialogue. So if you don't object, I'll record this time and I'll post it on our YouTube channel, and maybe we can get some other folks listening in on the pearls of wisdom that you bestow tonight. So we will see. So wanted to just start with saying, wow, we're like 2/3 of the way through our year together. So congratulations. And I know that many of you have had great successes in your year, so I'm excited to hear about those. I did want to give you just sort of a few ideas, maybe 4 or 5 quick ideas about ending your year strong. because you do have, the year's not over yet. You still have 3 months, 3 good months, 3.5 months to affect change, to make impact on your clubs. And that's a really nice period of time to really bring it home. So the one thing I wanted to mention first off, and I talked about this with Scott right before we started, if you had a president-elect who attended NEPETS, please circle back to them and have them present to your club as to what their experience was. The reason for that is because, number one, it gives them an opportunity. I think a lot of them came away with just bubbling over with excitement about their experience. And so we really want to make sure they get an opportunity to share that experience with your club members, share their excitement, sweep your club members up in their excitement, and get them excited for their presidential year. The other reason is because it really drives home the fact that any Rotarian who participates in a district event or in a larger event, a Rotary International event like NEPETS, really comes away so just inspired and benefited from it and rejuvenated and re-energized to get back to their club and try a new idea or take a different approach. And that is a contagious feeling. When people come back with that kind of excitement, it sends the message that participating, hey, Kelly, participating at the district or a larger level is beneficial. And it really just generates additional excitement in your club. So just want to encourage you all, speak to your presidents-elect, those who attended NEPETS, urge them to share, give them time to share with your club their experience there and what they gained from it. And we hope to inspire future leaders as well. So that's my first tip in terms of kind of bringing it home. The second one is, if your club has not taken advantage of the social media grant that the district is offering, please do so. This is $400 free that you don't have to match. It is available to you. And the application form has been designed to be very simple. One page for those of you who have filled it out. It is easy to fill out. It's easy to simply say, we're looking to, hey, Sebastian, good to see you, that we're looking
Salut, bonjour Caroline.
Bonjour. That we're looking to, heighten our visibility, showcase our impact on our community. I mean, it's an easy sort of application, and you don't have to get into super, data in order to apply and to, in order to benefit from the grant. Every single person that I know of, and we have 15 clubs now who have benefited from the grant, who are in the process of working in Quebec. There are individuals they're working with in Quebec, and in mostly in Vermont, New Hampshire, they're working with Courtney. Every individual that I've talked to, every club that I've talked to who has worked with Courtney has loved the experience so far. My club just started working with her. We had a Zoom call yesterday with her, which was fantastic. And we already have an action plan, the beginning of an action plan that we're going to start implementing at the end of this month. So it doesn't take a lot of time to really make a difference in your social media and your visibility. So again, if anyone here has not taken advantage of that, please get in touch with me. I'll send you the application. There is definitely still time. Third idea for kind of bringing your presidential year home this last quarter, the last 3 months, is to please encourage your members, and I'm encouraging you to attend the district celebration. We've got just a wonderful lineup of really fun, engaging, and family-friendly activities. We've got a youth speech contest. We've got a water park that's going to be exclusively available to us. We have a trivia night on Friday night. We have a great service project that is easy for any age to do. So we've really designed this to be available and accessible to families and to grandchildren and children. And so please encourage your members to join us. Again, when Rotarians are exposed to the bigger world of Rotary, you can't help but get more energized and excited by your mission. And that means you bring it back to the club and you do a greater and greater job. So please circle back to your club, get a show of hands as to who's participating, who's attending the district celebration, and please urge people to register and join us there. It's really going to be a tremendous amount of fun. And then one other tip, if you have not focused so far in your year on the membership challenge of gaining 5 new members for your club, take this time, the next 3 months, to do so. You can contact Eric Deneau or Jamie Milne. They have great ideas from the membership committee. If you want to circle back to the materials that I shared with you, every visit, for every club, I brought materials with me and I emailed them to you. If you haven't had a chance to revisit those materials, take a look at them. Even, you know, the Be a Vibrant Club, Reinvent Yourself materials that I gave you. Those are great opportunities to really, really sort of focus in on what are you doing to attract new members and to create greater impact potential for your club. We do have a number of clubs, by the way, in the district who have achieved that 5-member new members this year, that goal. So I'm really excited about that. And perhaps some of you are on this call. So just want to say, if you haven't focused on the membership piece of it, you still have a quarter of a year to do so, 3 months, and you can really, really make some cool things happen. And then finally, presidents, think about your role next year. You will finish now having been the president of your club. It's been an amazing experience. You have led your group to have greater impact, to understand what it is to lead a Rotary organization at the club level. Maybe you would like to participate at the district level. There might be a committee that allows you to use your passion and your sort of strengths to benefit the district. I can guarantee you that there are many, and Kelly's nodding her head, many district committees that you can participate in that will not take nearly the fraction of time that you've been spending as a president. So you're not going into the same kind of time commitment, believe me. There's plenty of opportunity to participate and impact the district meaningfully in a fraction of the time you've spent this year. And we would love to harness your talents and your experiences to benefit the district. So please consider that. There will be a committee fair, a district committee fair at the district celebration at the end of April in Jay Peak. So that might be an opportunity too, to take a look at those tables. So those are sort of my kind of 5 ideas for how you can really bring it home as a president this year in your Rotary Club. And if you have any questions about those, let me know. You can ask them now or later, or comment. Any questions or thoughts about any of those? Okay. All right. Hey, Spencer, I saw your message.
I have one.
Oh, yeah.
I have one, Caroline. I'm wondering, I just can't get anyone to pick up on the social media thing. I'm wondering how long those are going to be available.
Well, that's a great question. I'm pushing hard my district governor-elect and my district governor nominee to continue the social media initiative into their years. That's something that we'll have to talk about at the district level, but certainly they're going to be available right up until, the end of my year, to be certain, because I've been authorized to provide and offer those funds. Spence, I will tell you that you really don't need, you need someone who Courtney can get in touch with, but if someone is reluctant to take on the formal title of public image, chairperson or whatever, I would still suggest that you ask, that you fill out the form, send it in. And if there's someone who at least would be willing to be Courtney's point of contact, what Courtney is doing with my club, and she's done with a couple other clubs, is she's actually coming to us physically and making a presentation. And in that presentation, we're making sure that everybody brings their devices, whether it's a tablet, a phone, a laptop, and she's going to go around and do some coaching with our members as to how to do basic things in Facebook that will connect them more effectively with our Facebook page and will result in greater shares and greater engagement and greater views. So even if there's not a person who's comfortable putting forward kind of their name to lead it, it could be that as a group, Spence, you're able to take advantage of Courtney's skill set and you're able to enhance your visibility and impact as a club on social media. So again, it doesn't have to be a huge step. It can be a small step for your club and still a very consequential one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Yeah, Lise.
I just want to ask a question. Is there anybody on this call that already has a Facebook or Instagram or social media presence and that are already doing it? Yes, Sebastian? Yes. Yeah. And so do you find that people visit your page and then end up coming to your club or asking questions about the club? What kind of engagement do you see? We have the grant and people are thrilled, by the way, of having had their first interaction with Courtney. Said it was wonderful and a lot of new ideas, brought it up at our meeting today. But
Great.
I'm curious as president and someone who doesn't have a personal Facebook or Instagram, just because of my work, I don't do that. But I'm curious what we are seeing, what other people who do are seeing? What kind
Yeah,
of
so I'm going to jump in really quickly first, and then I'll let the others talk. But Lise, there are a couple things I just want to make clear. The first one is that this doesn't happen overnight. So this is an initiative that I think needs to be something that is sustained. So it may not be that, you know, if someone creates a Facebook for their club with Courtney the first time, that it's going to, you know, immediately translate into 2 new members walking in the door. It's got to be sort of, you know, it's going to be something taking place over time. The second thing I'll mention is that from my perspective, heightened social media is sort of one aspect of gaining new members. It's not necessarily the only one. In my picture of this, I guess my vision of this, Lise, is that if we can create a universe where Rotary, where people are pointed in that universe toward Rotary. So for example, if I see Rotary things coming up in my Facebook links, right, and stuff,
I see.
and then next month I think, you know, I'd really like to volunteer in my community. I'll remember that Rotary stuff. Or if someone in my community approaches me and says, you know, I'd love to have you visit my Rotary Club sometime, and I've seen those sort of posts and that engagement, it's educating people and raising our visibility as an organization entirely. Having said that, I will say that in my club,
Yeah, so the success becomes that the visibility is greater, period, whether or not it brings people in per se. People are seeing the Rotary logo, they're
Right.
seeing that it's something happening out there. Okay, I'm good
yeah,
with
I mean, it's kind of like all marketing. You sort of, it takes, you know, 5 to 10 asks, right? And then the 10th ask or the 10th exposure, someone actually might take you up on it. And I know Kelly raised her hand, so let me skip to Kelly next.
Basically, we are still trying to communicate with our membership. In order for your Facebook to be really effective, you need that link. You can establish your Facebook page, but you've got to have all of your members to like that Facebook page,
Right.
and then share it with their friends. But the other thing is, you know, when you post an event or post an announcement, or you post your pictures of what has happened, do it often. And just throw in a couple of sentences and that's it. Tell them your story, but do it often. The more you post, the better it is. But you have to make sure that your membership shares it with their friends, families, colleagues,
Right.
everything. That is so important, because it won't be effective if you don't do that.
And that's what, just so you know, Lise and Kelly, that's what Courtney's doing with our club, for example. She's showing us how to do that so that we can all become kind of connected and make this entire sort of ship float, right? Like float up. So that's kind of the idea. Does anyone else have any thoughts about what Lise was asking, or thoughts about the social media piece, the initiative, or your own social media use with your club? Okay.
I can
right.
tell you that the message to the club this morning from the 2 people in my club that are my social media team,
Mhm.
they shared exactly what you just said to the whole membership about when we do get our presence created, we need everybody to like it and share it. So
Yeah,
Courtney
absolutely.
did a nice job of being very clear, because the message got returned.
Yeah, she is very, very good at distilling complex things down to basics for those of us who are not professionals in this. Any other comments about anything that I mentioned in terms of your wrapping up your presidential year, the next few months? Any questions, comments, thoughts about that? Nope. All right. So the next part of the agenda was let's celebrate your successes. So I'd love to hear from each of you in turn. Tell me about one success you've had that you're really proud of as a president. Let's start there. So who wants to start?
I will.
Okay, go.
All right, Scott and then Lise.
All right. Well, Lise had her hand up just at the same time as I did, so I can defer to you, Lise.
No, go ahead. I already talked.
Oh, ours is in membership. We have 7 new members since I became president, and we have
Wow.
1 application. So we're looking to possibly have 8 or 9 by the time the changeover happens. So I would have to point to that as great success, and
That's incredible.
not because of anything I did especially, but that we have a membership committee and some great people on it, but more broadly, we have put this out to the entire club that we ask everybody to think of somebody that would make be interested and be a good member. And so we're hearing from all of our members from time to time.
That is wonderful. That is so great. It's funny how, Scott, you can get in a practice, a habit of inviting people.
Yeah.
And that really can, and you can fall out of the practice of inviting people. And so I think that's really wonderful that so many people are participating. That's terrific.
You get tips from people who say, "This is. Have you talked to this person?" Or years ago, for example, speaking to a friends of ours when we went out to dinner, whose grandfather and father were Rotarians, and he pointed out that years ago, the superintendent of schools was always a member. There was always a presence from our education community.
Yeah.
And so I have reached out to our superintendent just recently. I haven't heard back, but you get tips from people. That's one example.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. That's great. Karen, good to see you. We just started on successes, and Scott was sharing that he's had 7 new members join his club in his presidential year, which is incredible. So congratulations, Scott. That is great. Lise, what do you have to celebrate?
Well, we literally did celebrate our 100th anniversary. And so and our anniversary was actually in January of 2023, but I wanted to capture attendance of many of our members that leave the area in Vermont for warmer climates. And so I had my event in October of 2022. And my goal was to celebrate our 100th year with at least 100 people in attendance. And we exceeded that. It was very well attended. And so I am very pleased to have actually pulled that off with our team. And then because of that, we also did get a lot of new members and growing. And we've got a new venue with filling the room this morning. It was really nice. So I'm very proud of having actually done the 100th anniversary and set the stage for a lot of new members and new participation, even if they're not members yet, potential future members. So
that's wonderful. Please.
We are pleased about having that event. And we really decided that we should have more socials, holiday socials and things like that, and people participate. And then they said, yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'd like to also be a member. So
that's great. So, So Lise, it's fascinating that you thought about using that 100th anniversary as really something to draw in new Rotarians. So I think that's wonderful that it multi-purposed. It celebrated what you've done, and it affirmed your current Rotarian membership and sort of how much they enjoy and feel proud of what they've done. But then it drew in more people. So fantastic. Well done. And I enjoyed it. I went to the event. It was great. So you did a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Beautiful job. And Spence has his hand up.
Yeah, sorry about not, well.
That's okay.
You probably
That's
won't
okay.
be sorry that you don't have to look at me. I was on Zoom this morning and nobody could follow what I was saying until I turned off the video.
Yeah.
We have 5 new members and we're inducting 2 more in a week.
Wow.
But the thing I'm really proud of about that is out of these 7, 5 of them are women.
Wow.
And one is in her 20s, so that's changing the demographics of our group. And I think one of the things I've had a lot of trouble getting people to invite prospects to meetings. I'm not quite sure why, but the biggest thing we did, we've sort of done a soft touch, and last fall we had something called a friendship breakfast, in which we did not bill it as a membership event, just as learning about Rotary, and that really went over very well. Let me see what else.
Wonderful.
Oh, and the other thing I really want to mention is that my president-elect and I have been working more and more together, and we really formed a team, and we think this is a pattern that we're going to encourage future presidents to take advantage of, because it's great for me to have him as a team member, close team member. I mean, we do have other people that are very involved, but he particularly and I we meet monthly and are in touch much more than that, and are basically jointly planning the last 3 months of the year. So that, I think that's going to really help him, and it certainly helps me.
That's wonderful, Spence. Congrats on that. I know you've talked about the membership or the friendship breakfast before, and I shared that with my club as an idea, and I think we're going to try to do that in the near future. So nice trend setting there, and it sounds like it was really fruitful. And then I love the idea that you're talking about working together. Succession planning is really sort of hinged on the leaders, having some continuity, right? And the best way to do that is to collaborate early on in your new president's tenure, the new president coming in. So really beautiful job. Beautiful job. Who else wants to share a success? We're talking about what has been a success during your presidential year. Sebastian.
One of the things that I'm most proud of is members that were all dissipated in the last few years are now working together. I feel it's still fragile, but we're a good group. This morning we were about 16 out of 21, 22. So
Wow.
more and more members are present. So it's a good thing. The thing that I'm proud of is getting us all glued together to do good. So that's the main thing that I'm proud of.
Sebastian, that's a very good thing to be proud of. I mean, the Jennifer Jones has talked this year about the care and comfort of our Rotarians. The first thing we need to do is take care of the Rotarians who are actually with us now in our clubs. And what you've done by doing that is, I mean, I can tell you, Sebastian, when I visited your club, the atmosphere was beautiful. Like, it was fun, and they were happy to be together. You could tell the camaraderie was there. It was great. So that makes it just enjoyable for everyone. It gives them an incentive to come back. And frankly, if you haven't somebody visit, they want to be a part of that, like, that's fun. They want to be with that group. It's just a great vibe. So
Yep.
Congratulations. That is fantastic. Well done.
People are involved with the project. So this is
Very
a
nice.
good thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's wonderful, Sebastian. You should be rightly proud of it. Bien fait. Yeah. So anyone else wanted? Karen, yay, share with us.
So it's right in line with what he was just saying, pretty much, that we have had record high attendance at for the last probably 3 months or so, I would say. Even through, the snowstorms and all of that, and the darkness, because we're the Sunrise Club, and it wasn't the sun was not rising.
Yeah.
A lot of the time when we were meeting, but it's been above, just about 50% and above a lot of the time. So, which hasn't happened in the past. So
Wonderful.
I think when I took the presidency, we were going through kind of a hard time as a club, I think.
Mhm.
And some of that's still lingering, but we're starting to turn the corner, I think, and really starting to be more positive and just enjoy each other's company more. We've been hanging out. We've had more social time. We've had on our 5th Tuesdays, we've gotten together at different people's houses and just enjoyed each other's company.
That's great.
We've had 3 new members, but we had lost,
Congratulations.
I think, 3. Yeah, we lost 3 near the beginning of my presidency, but we've gained 3 new ones, and we're working on getting more. We're inviting people. We're just talking to more people as we go, just opening our mouths and sharing our experience about Rotary. And we have little business cards, if anyone shows interest. We don't lead with the business cards. We just, if they show interest, we write our numbers down and we share that with them, so they have the information. But
that's wonderful. Yeah. That's great, Karen. Well, again, similar to Sebastian, I mean, if you make this a fun environment, people who visit will want to be part of it. That is just such an important, critical piece. You can tell right away a group that's having fun and a group that isn't, and right. Your group is having fun, and that's fantastic. Telling the stories is another piece, right? Our district celebration at the end of April, that's going to be one of our themes, is storytelling. And we have some professional facilitators who are going to help people in workshops tell stories and think about how to tell the Rotary story. And they're going to be keynote speakers as well one night. And then we have an incredible author who's a professional storyteller as our keynote the second night. So telling our story is so important in a way that, you know, really engages people. So that's fantastic, Karen. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
And anyone else want to share a success this year? Kevin.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I think probably the biggest thing that our club achieved so far this year was we restarted our main fundraiser that we traditionally did every year, the auction gala. We had 2 years off. And,
Oh yeah.
and even before we had 2 years off, we were starting to have problems, you know, pulling together people to make it happen, organize it and everything. So this year was a kind of a test case, but everybody was a little bit rusty, but we were able to get that fundraiser off the ground again, and we raised a good amount of money for our partner. So it was a big success. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember, Kevin, when I visited your club, you folks were talking about that, and I'm so glad that it went well. And, you know, it's great when you can honor a past tradition and bring new life to it. So that's fantastic. So well done. That's really great. Really well done. And again, you know, a lot of people are restarting things right after 2 years of COVID. They're restarting club visits, club in-person visits. They're restarting old projects. They're taking the time to look at projects they've done a long time. And maybe there are some you don't want to restart. You know, maybe there are some that don't make sense, but it sounds like this one made sense. So I give you a lot of credit for tackling it. So well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Worth celebrating for sure. Anyone else want to share something? Claude.
Yes. After a few months, when I started the year, we were meeting every 2 weeks, and we started to go to different places to find a place where everyone will be at ease. So the good thing is, since the end of December, because at the end of December, before Christmas, we have a lot of smaller projects with school, with children, and most of our members did participate all those events.
Great.
And so it seemed to have well, how can I say, put a new light, a new flame to the club, because in October we tried to have an Halloween night, and it didn't went well. It didn't work. So
yeah,
it was new. We tried something new, and it didn't. Well, people didn't like that anyway.
Yeah.
But since January, we're now meeting every week. And
wonderful.
We're meeting at the same place every week now. So we tour all over Drummondville before deciding to go to this place. Members are coming back, because we were usually 4, 5, 6 members a meeting. Now we're about 10, 11, 12.
Good.
So at least it's half of the club. And also, it's what can I say? Members began to get involved. So, for example, before, the co-president were doing everything about preparing each meeting. Now every month, 2 members takes 1 month and prepare the month, prepare the speaker and everything. And every week we have something new. So we see that it's starting back. It's going where it used to be, and the fun is back too. So that's the main thing. So we'll be ready to welcome you then. So I'm awaiting John, and we should manage something.
That's great. I'm very happy to hear that. And the fun is back. I like that. And Claude, you know, I give you a lot of credit. It's hard to try a new project. And if it doesn't work, it's discouraging, you know, but you know, if you don't try something new, you never know where the next success is around the corner. So I give you credit for your club and you trying a new project. If this one didn't work out, you're on to better things. And it sounds like you've created some stability for your club. You've given them a new foundation, and now they're getting back into it and they're enjoying it. So that's really great, Claude. Well done. Very nice.
Jean and me are actually working on a plan that will start somewhere in the middle of March, I mean, for the membership. So
wonderful.
We have built some things in the last 3 months. We were building something, and it will be involving all the members of the club. Like
Great.
Kelly said earlier, the way to use Facebook and things like that is you create something, you send it to all your members, and all your members resend it to the people. So it creates something and you get an answer.
Yep. Claude, has your club, I don't remember, has your club applied for the social media grant?
No, but I will do that. I have to speak with you about Courtney. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I'll
I
get
can
in
tell
touch
you
with you.
that, I can tell you Sebastien and the Drummondville Club also have used a different, they've chosen different people, which is understandable because she doesn't speak French. So you can choose someone in your neck of the woods and use the money for that, as long as that's what they do as a profession, as a job.
Yeah,
So,
but as Courtney is already working with many clubs in the district.
yeah,
She
that's
knows
true.
the Rotary, she knows the feeling, and
That's
we
true.
can translate,
Yeah,
and most
yeah.
of them understand some English.
Yeah, and again, where you are is, like you said, I think you're kind of at a basic place, which is making sure your members are sharing and engaging on social media so that they
Yeah.
amplify all of their friends, right? They have 2 friends, 5 friends, 20 friends. It begins to, spread. So that's a very,
Exactly.
it really is a relatively simple recipe, and it doesn't take a lot of understanding of social media to
Yeah.
make progress. So absolutely. Send me,
do-
I'm happy to send you the application.
Okay. I have the
Oh, you do?
the
Okay.
script, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think it's possible to maybe manage to have the 2 Drummondville club to do the same if Courtney come down, for example, she could address herself to both club and said only me or only mine.
Oh, I'm sure she'd be happy to. I think the Drummondville Club has already, I think, engaged someone else, but I'm sure she'd be happy to, you could
Okay.
invite them to your club meeting and they could certainly join and listen as well. That'd
Okay.
be no problem, I'm sure. So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's great, Claude. Congratulations. That's super. Did I miss anyone here? Linda, what about you? What is your success?
Well, I think that my success is we're getting new people. Some of them have become new members. Some of them have said it's not for them.
Yeah,
But
good.
I've been picking on people to do things, and I've been very lucky and picked the right people to do a lot of the jobs.
That's great.
Kendra is doing an amazing job with our what is it, Facebook.
Great.
Our membership committee person is doing a fantastic job.
Nice.
Getting people, once they come as a guest, he follows up with them and everything. So it's just been a fairly successful year. Unfortunately, due to deaths and people changing jobs and stuff, the numbers haven't increased that much, but we have newer, younger members coming in, and
Wonderful.
that's the good part.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of enthusiasm and energy.
So that's fantastic, Linda. And I just want to highlight something you said. When you said you have a great person doing your public image, your social media, you have a great person heading up your membership committee. Linda, what you've been doing is working on your infrastructure. And that was one of the 3 sort of pieces that I presented to each club was infrastructure, membership, and social media. So I love that you're working on your infrastructure, Linda. And what's great about that is it not only benefits your club, but then you take it off your shoulders, right? So as a president, you don't have to wear every single hat. And that's so important because it gives you time and makes the job much more enjoyable and less burdensome, frankly. So that's fantastic.
But it also gives the other people a feeling of ownership. It's like they're no longer just a member, they're doing something.
Great
And that
point.
I find that that's one of the biggest thing to keep people interested in Rotary is to have them involved. The more involved they are, the more into Rotary they are.
I agree with you. They're not passive recipients, right? Of
Right.
what you're doing. They're active, people of action, right? That's who we are. So that's, they
And
want
that's
to
what
act.
we want.
So that's fantastic. Well done. All right. Well, a lot of success here, folks. Thank you. That is amazing. Thank you so much. I'm really, really delighted and proud of you all for the kind of leadership that you've presented to your club. So now going 180, what's a challenge that you continue to have as a member? What is something that continues to kind of be a source of maybe frustration or just, you know, kind of feeling like you're hitting your head against the same spot in the wall every night, you know?
Not
what if
having
you-
all members at meetings.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Does anybody have any solutions for that? Not having all members at meetings? I know all of us experience it. I mean, on average, most clubs have about 60 to 70% tops attend their meeting, and that's a
Yeah.
generous estimate.
I don't
Anybody
know.
got any ideas?
I don't know whether we've solved the problem or not, but we have had a big challenge with attendance in the last half a year or year. You know, and our regular attendance had drifted down to maybe about, on average, 30% of the club attending meetings on a regular basis. So I don't know, we've kind of reached a breaking point where we had to just rethink everything, and we engaged a good amount of the club in sort of rethinking, when do you want to have the meetings? How often do you want to have the meetings? Where do you want to have the meetings? How do you want to pay for lunch? All those things. So we're starting a new plan in April. So I'm hopeful that
Wow.
that will re-energize the club a little bit and bring in some more members and get people more engaged in the meeting. So, but we'll see. It's an experiment.
That's Kevin, I think you've basically hit the nail on the head in terms of what you can do in those circumstances. And I don't know if you ended up using, you know, when I went around the clubs, again, one of the things I offered to everyone was that tool called the Rotary Health Check, the club health check. And I don't know if you used that or just did it more informally, but for anyone who is experiencing massive sort of non-attendance by members, that might be one tool that you can use. I think, in whatever way you do it, Kevin's exactly right. Trying to engage those members, at least so they can answer the question, why aren't you coming? What is it that's preventing you? What's the hurdle? Is it the time of the meetings? Is it the cost? Is it the format of the meetings? What is it that you're looking for that you're not getting right now that's resulting in you staying at home? You know, again, hearkening back to my conversation with Scott, some people are just out of practice. That's true. But we got it. So maybe that's true, but maybe there's more. And asking them, right? Asking them is hopefully going to get an answer. Anyone else? Ideas?
You know, with the pandemic, when the pandemic time and everything, people stopped coming to meeting.
Mhm.
And I think the solution is not trying to get more people to the meeting, because mentality of younger people is different. But I've noticed that when you do a project, all of the members are there. And that's where it's important. If you had a fundraiser and 95% of your members are there, if you had any kind of project or something, if most of your members are there. So we should maybe focus more on having maybe one or two more local projects than trying very hard to get people to have a meal with us. I've read something about Rotary, a club that met only once a month, but the 3 other weeks are doing something together.
Yep.
So I believe this will bring back the member together. So then we'll need a get together. They'll be there too.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. I think you're right on. I think you hit the target for there, because our membership, we're averaging maybe 75% attendance in person. But we also have a lot of fun with our project. We have a food security project, and there's a lot of activities, and people, you do something together, you have fun together, on the outside of the meeting, or you have a social, and all of a sudden you have a relationship, you have a bond, and you look forward to just seeing people. And then great speakers. We have a great program director, always very interesting speakers, and people will come and visit as a guest, bring a guest, and they're like, wow, this is a lot of fun. You guys have a good time, and this is very interesting. And next thing you know, that guest comes again. So, and participating in events. I don't know. I think the events and the work projects are really important to bring people back together in a meeting.
It's interesting too, Lise, what you said, because it seems to me that what you're talking about is that different people are engaged in different ways, and you're offering them the whole range of options. It's like a buffet. You know, you're offering those who want to do a small local project engagement. You're offering speakers for those who want to be educated. Maybe education is really exciting for them and they want to learn. You're offering, you know, a social event. I mean, you're offering kind of a range of options. And I think that's really smart. That's really great. Spence, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Well, one of my frustrations is I started the year thinking we really ought to experiment with meeting at other times. I've just had a lot of resistance to that right along. And I actually have a possible solution. I've noticed at NEPEDS that, and I'm sure this is true within a district, but I just kept hearing of clubs that don't meet every week. We theoretically do. And also some that have schedules where they meet at different times, different weeks. And my president-elect is planning to go to 3 meetings a month. And I'm going to suggest, I've already talked to him briefly about this, having the 4th week be a noon-hour meeting, which would be sort of a Friends of Rotary kind of thing. It's not, I mean, Rotarians are welcome. We need at least one person there who will be a connection with what's going on in Rotary, but also just invite other people. And I specifically have one person who wanted to join but couldn't because she can't get to a morning meeting. So I'm hoping that we may gradually get to less than even 3 meetings a month just because of the cost of having breakfast, and we might be able to replace it with a low expense meeting at some other time of day, either noon or 5 o'clock, something like that. So we're going to experiment with that this coming year.
That's great. I mean, again, you hit upon a couple things. The first one is experimentation. You know, you got to try new things. Claude's Club tried a new project. It might not have worked out, but they tried it. You know, you got to try new things. The second thing is that Rotary now has the ability, and your clubs have the ability to be endlessly creative in terms of when you meet, how you meet, what you do. You know, you don't have to be wedded to the classic for every week, a meal, you pay for it, you're there a certain time. You just don't have to anymore. And there are clubs now that are doing things like they have, you know, 1 meeting a month, like Spence said, and then they do a service project. I think Claude mentioned this too, once a month. You know, that's a great option for maybe young professionals or people who have young children, or, you know, people who just can't afford a meal every week like that. You know, and that's a great option for some of them. The other thing is, don't forget about satellite clubs. If you have St. Johnsbury, I think, is looking at this. If you have, you know, a club in which post-COVID, after COVID, there seem to be 2 sort of, you know, branches of your club. One of them wants to go back maybe to being weekly and doing the kind of that same type of meeting. And the other one is now feeling a different freedom. And they now want to be less tied down to a weekly meeting. You could transform them into a satellite club, which is affiliated with your club, and they could create new approach to their meetings and kind of how they proceed. And that can only make your club stronger. So creativity is definitely the word of the day. Scott, you had your hand up.
Yes, this is a different issue that we faced. I was having one of my, let's say every couple of months I meet with the president-elect and vice president after a regular meeting. And on 2 or 3 occasions in a row, both women pointed out that they were annoyed by the side conversations that are taking place when there is a speaker or somebody is speaking, or if I'm speaking, and what are we to do about it? And we certainly didn't want to confront anybody or I was against making any kind of issue out of it that would turn people off. But both Jen and Michelle brought this up to me on several occasions, so I knew they wanted to see something done about it. So just on the spur of the moment, following that last meeting a couple months ago, I said, I'm going to tell you a story while you're finishing your meal. And it has to do with my granddaughter, Gemma. And I picked her up from school, as I do every Thursday, and said, Gemma is in 1st grade this year. What's going on in school now? And she said, well, Papa, we have tickets. We have a ticket for speeding. And that is when you're running, you can get a ticket and you lose time from recess. And we have another ticket for blurting. I said, blurting, what's that? And she said, well, that's when you're talking too much when you're not supposed to. I never get a speeding ticket, but I keep getting blurting tickets. I just told that story to the Rotarians about blurting. And as I finished, one person said, I think the sergeant at arms should go up to a person who's blurting and tap them on the shoulder. And another person said from another corner of the room, of the 30, 40 people that were in attendance, well, we should have fines for that. So we never did follow through with fines or the sergeant at arms tapping people on the shoulder. But every once in a while, somebody comes up to me and asks me how Gemma is doing with blurting. And I say, Gemma isn't getting any tickets for blurting anymore. So it just seems to have resonated with the club. And I think we've noticed less blurting or side conversations while others are talking.
The power of a good story, Scott. That is awesome.
From a power of a first grader.
I love the story of the child teaching the adults.
Yes.
I have one of those too. That's great.
That is
Thank you for
great.
sharing. I love hearing that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You know, I'll add too that my sort of own experience in our Rotary Club, my president, Nicole, is a very, very, you know, just a strong personality, and she's great. You know, she just doesn't make any bones about it. And, you know, at one point we were having that problem too, Scott, and, you know, she just had a Rotary Etiquette 101 primer, a little lesson for the club one week, you know, just said, yeah, we're gonna go through some Rotary etiquette, you know, reminders here. And she just, you know, she just put them out, and that, you know, that I think that chastised people a little bit. It helped us remember our manners, you know, and I think it helped a little bit. So yeah, but a good story is definitely worth its weight in gold. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, anyone else, a challenge that you want to discuss? I mean, we're coming up with some great solutions or great problem solving, you know, brainstorming with these challenges. So I'd love to hear from anyone else about a challenge they have. How about the challenge of getting a succession, a line of succession for your clubs? Do you all have PEs? Do you all have VPs? Where are you with that?
No.
You know, what do we do? Sebastien?
The thing that I want to try is more getting something which is already made on how to run the club. I've been doing this for, it's not my first run. And each time we have to restart everything and redo everything. So I want to do something which is how to plan your communications with the club, how to plan your weekly meeting, how to plan or your board of directors and things like that, just to make sure that we have a stable line to continue. And this is going to help, I'm for sure, for the next two presidents that we have. So that's what I'm going to try to do for the next 3 months.
And Sebastien, you know what I call that? Infrastructure. That's infrastructure. I love it. I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about, because when you don't have to reinvent the wheel, it's easier, right? You're making the next person's job easier, and that will make them feel better about being able to take it on. They'll be more efficient. It won't be as burdensome. And then we'll have, you know, and that naturally translates into people saying, yeah, it's not, you know, it's not like it takes over your life being a president of this club. You know, you've got some.
It won't be as scary as it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Linda, you were shaking your head really vehemently. Do you not have a president-elect at this point?
No, we do not. We do not have a vice president. And we do not have a full board.
Okay.
However, we're making progress on the board. We got a couple more
Okay,
people
that's good.
interested in that. So we're still working on it. It's a work in progress.
Have you discussed the idea of co-presidents? That's something that some clubs do when they're having trouble getting one person to take on the task. Has that been discussed at all? That
I
possibility?
believe I did throw that out at one point in time, but I haven't reiterated it. And it's time to do that. Yes, definitely.
That might be an idea. That might be an
Yep.
idea. You know, and does anyone else have any ideas for sort of how to, you know, wrangle a president-elect out of your club at this stage?
I will add about co-president. The good thing about the co-president thing, it's make your co-president, who's usually is your vice president or president-elect, it make this person involved with the year preceding when he'll be president because of the title, only because he's co-president, so you have to work with. So I know in Romanville Malouin, that's working so fine.
Hmm.
And we're able to share some of the duties, so you don't have everything on your shoulder.
So Claude, that's interesting. So I have seen co-presidents in a variety of ways. I have seen the Montpelier Club last year had a co-president where one president took the first half of the year and the other president took the second half of the year. So it was far easier to convince someone to take on 6 months than it was to take on a full 12 months. That is, so there are a lot of different options. Or I've seen also, Claude, what you're talking about, the overlay of presidents to kind of make it a full support for a few years. So there's a lot of options there. Again, creativity is possible. So Linda, there may be someone who said, you know what, I'm willing to do it 6 months. I'm willing to do it 6 months. If there's someone else who will do it 6 months, I'm willing to do it. Is that perfect? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it would be, maybe it wouldn't be. They should work together certainly to create a vision that is a full year
Right.
vision. But frankly, the idea of only having to head up meetings for 6 months is a lot easier to swallow than the idea of being front and center every week for 12 months for some people. They're willing, that's something they'd be willing to do. So you might want to think about that idea of a co-president.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody else,
Great
any
idea.
solutions? Anybody, any other solutions for those who are clubs that are having trouble finding a president-elect right now in the last quarter of your term? You're vested, it's a vested interest because you don't want them to vote you to continue for another year. So you definitely want to get that person in place. So any other ideas? Lise, do you have a president-elect in your club?
We just talked about that this morning.
Okay.
And I love your vice president, which is potentially a co-presidency next year.
Mhm.
I'm going to send an email out through Club Runner to our club membership, I think, and saying, hey, please consider that. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
The two
It is.
women who did it in Montpelier were actually worked for the same company. And so that was interesting too. And they were kind of on the same wavelength and they were good friends. They're both younger women, good friends. So it worked out well for them. But so we've got just a couple minutes. Any other challenges? Anyone else want to throw any challenges out there that you want to talk about and get some feedback on? All right. Well, I think we've hit on the main ones, certainly, the president-elect issue, kind of engagement, attendance. Those are really big picture issues that a lot of clubs have. They're pretty universal. So, and I think we came up with some good ideas for them. So thank you all for contributing. It's been great to hear about your successes. It's been great to hear the solutions to the challenges. I hope you'll bear in mind some of my ideas for how you can finish off your year strong. And we did record this, so I will post this to YouTube and I'll let folks know that it's available to them. So yeah, thanks for all the good ideas, Spence says, and I echo that. So have a great evening, everyone. I hope
Thank you.
I hope to see you April 1st at the District Assembly.
Okay, thanks
Take care.
everyone. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fun you.
Take
Fun
care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good to see everybody.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Salut Caroline.
Bye-bye.